When you think of NFL defensive players who have the right to claim themselves as the greatest of all time, your mind should go right to some of the most memorable shutdown corners who have ever played the game. These cornerbacks are so good, so quick, so effective in shutting down a wide receiver they are covering, defensive coordinators draw up coverages to put these corners on their own island to shut down the opponent's top receivers for the entire game. It's easy to say these all-pro and Hall of Fame cornerbacks have a knack of frustrating receivers like Devontae Adams, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and even some of the most legendary receivers of the past, like Randy Moss, Andre Rison, and yes, even Jerry Rice felt the pressure from some of these shutdown cornerbacks. From playing mind games and talking trash to their opponents to backing up their talk with unforgettable hits, miraculous interceptions, and post-pick six celebrations. Today, we are going to take a look at the top 10 best shutdown corners in NFL history. You're going to want to stick around to see who made it to number 3 on our list. It may surprise some of you. Ready? Okay, let's break. No other player in the NFL who played cornerback can claim they were the fastest man in the NFL for their entire career, other than Darrell Green. Coming in at number 10 on the list of best shutdown cornerbacks of all time is Washington Redskins cornerback Darrell Green. From his quiet demeanor on the field and smaller than average stature compared to your prototypical defensive back that is, you might think Darrell Green was a pushover on the field. But Darrell Green proved those doubters wrong consistently throughout his 20-year career playing for Washington. Darrell Green saw receivers like Jerry Rice, Michael Irvin, and Chris Carter consistently in the regular season and throughout the playoffs. He was so good in keeping these Hall of Fame receivers out of the game that he recorded 54 interceptions during his 20-year career in the NFL. Let me say that stat again just so that way you understand. That is 54 picks in an over 20-year career. The average career span for a cornerback in the NFL is just under 3 years. Darrell Green played in the NFL as an elite shutdown corner for 20. Not only did he shut down the top receivers in the league, as the fastest man in the league, he chased down running backs like they were running in slow-mo. Maybe it was the Tootsie Roll candies he used to tuck into his socks on game day, who knows. Take a look at this play against the Dallas Cowboys in 1983. His world-class sprinter speed and sheer determination tracked down Dorsett from more than 10 yards away.
Tony Dorsett goes down, only one man on the field could catch him. Darrell Green, the world-class sprinter from Texas A&I. He did make up some ground too, Frank.
Another corner with amazing closing speed makes our list at number 9, and that's Darrelle Revis. There may not be a better man-to-man cornerback in NFL history than Darrelle Revis.
Barely ever see Darrelle Revis go inside right here. You barely ever see that because he studied and he anticipates every route going from study habits.
He was the absolute best at frustrating the opponent's number 1 receiver, which earned his respect around the league as well as his nickname, Revis Island. Throughout the first 6 seasons in the NFL playing for the New York Jets, he earned his reputation as one of the best corners in NFL history, giving up less than 40 catches a year. Just look at his 2009 season when he had to face off against legendary receiver Randy Moss and that historic New England Patriots offense twice a year.
Yeah, and this time Randy Moss thinks that he knows it's kind of to the other side, trying to run a delay route underneath.
The former first-rounder out of Pitt to face off against Tom Brady and Randy Moss, who both had record-breaking years in 2009. Revis definitely lived up to his Revis Island name and shut down Moss in both of their regular season matchups. In their Week 2 matchup, Randy Moss only caught 4 passes for 24 yards, while in their Week 11 game, Moss caught 5 passes for only 34 yards and a touchdown. Not bad for Revis Island in his prime. Several seasons of his elite shutdown prowess earned him a 4-year contract extension in 2010, worth $46 million, 32 of that guaranteed, making him the highest paid cornerback at the time. Revis would go on to play for Tampa Bay and New England, who he helped win Super Bowl 49. Remember that play where everyone wondered what the Seahawks were thinking when they passed the ball at the goal line when they had Marshawn Lynch in the backfield? Yep, Darrelle Revis was in that same bunch of DBs with Malcolm Butler, who made that memorable pick to win the game for the Patriots.
Yeah. What's up, boy? Hold on. What's up, boy? Blood,
What's
baby.
happening, fellas?
Are you
know I'm
excited?
holler at prime time, you know what I'm saying? You can't hit this.
Whoa, look what, hey, look what we brought to the party.
Are you excited?
Come on up here, come on.
Let's do it.
Revis set the bar for all future cornerbacks so high that it is the expectation for the best modern-day corners to be isolated with the top receivers in the league. However, we have to remember that the NFL wasn't always a passing league, but this next cornerback proved to be one of the toughest DBs to ever play the game. Coming in at number 8 is none other than Mel Blount from the 1970s Pittsburgh Steelers. Mel Blount played some hard-nosed football and punished all of the receivers, running backs, and tight ends that came his way. As a member of the 4-time world champion Steelers from 1970 to 1983, Mel Blount was a 2-time All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler, and was so good at keeping the other receivers out of the game, the NFL made a rule about him. That's right, the NFL Competition Committee knew the Steelers and their defense was so good, they were intent on stopping the Steelers from further league domination for the 1978 season. You know how the defense can't touch receivers beyond 5 yards or it's illegal contact? Yep, that rule is in place because of Mel Blount and how dominant the Steelers' defense was compared to NFL offenses. Mel Blount would say in a 2021 interview with Patrick Peterson and Brian McFadden, quote, "When that happened to me, I took it as an insult. As if, okay, so you're putting this rule in because you think that's the only way I can play and that it's going to slow me down?" End quote.
When they changed the rule, I took it as an insult, really, because I said, well, because they changed the rule, that's the only way I'm going to play. Yeah. But now that my kids and my grandkids, you know, they changed the rule after, so it's a good feeling now.
The new Mel Blount rule did very little to slow down the Steelers' defense, and they would go on to win 2 more Super Bowls after they changed the rule. Speaking of the 5-yard illegal contact rule, let us know what you think in the comment section below. Should the NFL keep the Mel Blount rule, or should they let the defenses get a little bit more physical with receivers beyond the line of scrimmage? Coming in at number 7 on our best shutdown cornerback list is another Mel from the 70s, Mel Renfro. Mel played for the Dallas Cowboys from 64 to 77. As a member of the legendary Tom Landry's Cowboys, Renfro earned 2 Super Bowl rings while recording 52 interceptions during his 14-year career. Now, I know what some of you football historians might say. Mel Renfro is not a true cornerback. Some may agree with you, but he's on our top 10 list because he switched from safety to corner in his 5th season and played that position for almost a decade. The switch to cornerback culminated in Super Bowl VI and created a classic face-off between Mel Renfro and Miami Dolphins' extremely fast receiver, Paul Warfield. Warfield's dangerously fast speed was no match for Renfro, holding him to only 4 receptions and 39 yards. Mel's stifling defense helped Dallas win Super Bowl VI with a score of 24-3 and earn the title of one of the top 2 cornerbacks in Dallas Cowboy history. You might ask, who beats Mel Renfro as the best Dallas cornerback? Well, he shows up a little further down the list, so you'll just have to stay tuned to figure out who the best corner in Dallas really is. At number 6, we decided to put in one of the current day corners who absolutely deserves to be on this list. Jaylon Johnson from the Chicago Bears is arguably one of the top corners in the league today, right next to Sauce Gardner from the Jets. Johnson was Pro Football Focus's number 1 graded cover corner last season, allowing a staggering 33.3 passer rating on passing targets in his direction. He also had 10 times as many picks and pass breakups as touchdowns allowed. Not only did he set the standard for the Bears defense with picks, he gave up only 195 yards on 50 targets. That stat alone is insane. Bears general manager Ryan Poles did him right and got him paid this offseason, signing him to a 4-year, $76 million contract, including a $20 million signing bonus and $51.4 million in guaranteed money through 2027. Johnson is a rising star in the NFL, and there's no doubt that he will be higher on our list as he continues to play great in the league. We are now in the top 5 of our list of best shutdown cornerbacks in the NFL, and there's no better way to kick off Red Zone Mania's top 5 list then with Aeneas Williams.
Aaron Rodgers is a bad man. Bad man.
Bad man.
He's a bad man.
Bad man. He's a bad man.
Like Stephen A. Smith likes to call Aaron Rodgers that bad man, Aeneas Williams was that bad man. Over his career with the Cardinals and Rams, he scored 12 defensive touchdowns through 9 pick sixes and 3 scoop and scores. Not only that, he earned 55 interceptions throughout his career, leading the league in 1994 with 9. What was most impressive was his ability to shut down the top receivers of the 90s, despite their Hall of Fame quarterbacks like Troy Aikman, Brett Favre, and of course Steve Young. Williams unfortunately ended Steve Young's career early with a blindsided sack. The hit made Young slam his head hard on the turf, giving him a severe concussion that would end his season and force him to retire. Still, Williams earned All-Pro honors 4 times and earned his spot in the Hall of Fame in 2014. Coming in at number 4 on the list is the cornerback who has the most Pro Bowl selections in the history of the NFL for cornerbacks, Champ Bailey. You can argue that Champ Bailey had one of the best seasons as a shutdown corner in 2006 playing for the Denver Broncos. Rex Ryan seems to disagree, and he thought that Darrelle Revis had the best shutdown season ever in 2009 with the Jets. Actually, I'd like to know from you. Let us know in the comments section below who you think had the best season in the history of the NFL as a shutdown corner. We have to give Champ Bailey a whole lot of credit. In 2006, Bailey was thrown at only 35 times and allowed only 4 receptions. If that 10% completion rate wasn't enough, he led the league with 10 picks out of those 35 pass attempts. 6 of those 10 interceptions came inside the Broncos' 4-yard line, and 3 were inside the 20-yard line in the red zone. Needless to say, quarterbacks who decided to gamble and throw Champ Bailey's way at the most pivotal time of the drive lost that gamble more times than they won, including this time in January of 2006 against the New England Patriots in the AFC Divisional Round playoff game. Champ Bailey picked off Tom Brady in the end zone and ran back 100 yards before getting chased down at the 1-yard line.
The one man who had a shot at him. Talk about a game changer. Bailey, is he in or not?
His clutched performance sealed the playoff win and ended Brady's chance for a three-peat as Super Bowl champions. Coming in at number 3 and number 2 on the list are the Woodson brothers. No, I'm just kidding, they are not related, but Charles Woodson and Rod Woodson are without a doubt 2 of the best shutdown corners the NFL has ever seen. They are so good that it was so hard to figure out which one should be number 2 and which one should be number 3. For this reason, let's just say they are 2A and 2B. Let's start with Rod Woodson first. Rod was a triple threat on the field. For all of you college football fans, try to think of Rod Woodson as an OG Travis Hunter. Rod played running back and wide receiver on offense, as well as cornerback and safety at Purdue. That doesn't even include his kickoff return duties. Rod ranks 3rd all-time in interceptions with 71 and faced some of the toughest receivers the league has ever seen. Kind of like Darrell Green on this list, Rod Woodson had a very long career in the NFL, playing for 17 years with the Steelers, Raiders, Ravens, and 49ers. An amazing feat for a position that requires a whole lot of speed and agility. The other Woodson on this list is Charles, who could play both sides of the ball just as easily as Rod. You could argue that is what made him one of the best shutdown corners in the league. Charles was another DB that had a pretty long career, playing for 18 seasons for the Packers and Raiders. Charles led the league in interceptions, not once, but twice, and as a premier cover corner, he had at least 1 pick in every season he played in the NFL. His resume is impressive enough, but if you look at his hard hits highlight reel, it becomes even better. His 13 defensive touchdowns, along with becoming the first player in NFL history to accumulate 50 interceptions and 20 sacks, have earned him the number 2 spot on our shutdown cornerback list. And now, the time has come for us to reveal who is the number 1 cornerback on the list. Remember when we told you there was another Cowboy player on this list? Well, this is him. But not only the Cowboys, he also played for the Niners, Washington, and the Ravens. But he was drafted by the Falcons and was undeniably the best showman and shutdown player the NFL has ever seen. That's right, I'm talking about Neon Deion, Prime Time, Coach Prime, or more commonly, just Deion Sanders. There was no other cornerback in the history of the NFL who has the most interception return yards and was the first player to have two 90-yard interception returns for touchdowns in the same season. His ability to get into the heads of his receiver opponents was as effective as his physical abilities to disrupt a play. Just look at this game when he returned home to Atlanta. He locked up with Andre Rison all game, and boy, did he get inside his head. Deion Sanders' return to Atlanta in '94 was the most hyped game to watch at the time, and it did not disappoint.
We got some duking going on. Andre Rison and Deion Sanders. Well, I guess they are talking to one another now. Yeah, I think they finally said something.
It was an epic battle with Deion Sanders getting the last laugh, picking off Jeff George in the red zone and taking it to the house.
George has time, and his pass is intercepted. They're not catching him down the sideline. Deion Sanders is dancing. He's looking backwards from about the 40-yard line. Oh, is he going to do a number on the crowd here?
Deion didn't spare any words to the Falcons sideline on the way down to the end zone, which just proved he could talk the talk just as good as he could walk the walk. Sanders was voted to 8 Pro Bowls, voted first team All-Pro 6 times and second team All-Pro twice. Amazingly, he had his best years in the NFL between 1989 and 1997, while also playing in Major League Baseball, solidifying him as one of the best cornerbacks of all time and one of the planet's greatest athletes ever. So there you have it, our top 10 shutdown cornerbacks in NFL history. Let us know what you think of our list in the comments section below. Did we get it right? Did we miss someone that you wanted to see on this list? Let us know your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.